Alex and Grace, I wondered what our hymn was going to be today. A great choice. In another hymn, a classic one as well, called Precious Lord, Take My Hand. In that hymn, there is the echo of today's gospel from Mark. And as I prayed and reflected on Jesus taking the hand of the man who was blind, those words, Precious Lord, take my hand, came to mind. If you can imagine for a moment the scene where Jesus and his disciples arrive at Bethsaida, a small fishing town, and in that town, there are people who bring Jesus to a blind man. And then trusting in the healing power of Jesus, they ask him to touch the man so he can be healed and see once again. In the past, we've heard the gospel story about how a woman who had been ill for years merely touched the garment of Jesus and was healed. But in this case, it was different. The man who was blind, that man needed people to bring Jesus to him. Maybe you've been someone who's been brought to Jesus, or maybe you've brought a family member or a friend to him for healing and prayer, the sacrament of confession, the sacrament of the sick, or maybe you've brought someone to Jesus in the holy sacrifice of the Mass. It is a powerful and a poignant moment when Jesus takes the man who is blind by the hand and leads him outside of the village. Some of you may be able to relate to what I'm about to say. If you've ever had your eyes dilated for testing to the point that everything is blurred, most likely someone from that doctor's office has led you from the waiting room to the exam room. Inherent in allowing this person to lead you is trust. That man in today's gospel put his trust in Jesus. He let Jesus lead him away from his loved ones so that Jesus could restore his sight. And did you notice the healing did not take place in one step? Some theologians point to this and to the fact that whether it is spiritual, emotional, or physical healing, it rarely happens instantly and in one step. As we know, in any of these categories, healing usually occurs over time. And this is where further trust in Jesus also comes into play for us. In the first reading from Genesis, we heard of the faith of Noah. Noah didn't just put his trust in God for a day or a week or a month, but for his lifetime. And 600 plus years is a long time to have trust in God. Like Noah, we're called to look at our faith in Jesus, not just intermittently when problems arise. We're called to have faith in Jesus throughout our lives, in the good times and in the hard times. And we can emulate Noah by being observant, both in terms of what is going on within our souls and also what's going on outside, beginning with our family members, our friends in the wider circle. Noah's trust in God led him to have faith that one day the waters would recede, but he had to be watching and vigilant. He first had to send a raven and then a dove several times before it didn't come back, giving the signal that there was dry land and that God was ready, as Father Bobby said yesterday, to provide humanity with a reset, to give humanity a new beginning. That hymn, Precious Lord, Take My Hand, that was written by a man named Mr. Thomas A. Dorsey. Not the Tommy Dorsey that many of us would think of, but another man. This man had tragically lost his wife and child during childbirth. It is a song that speaks of sadness and weariness that seems unbearable. But it is a song of faith that God can lead us to a better place, whether on earth or in heaven. Today's readings and that hymn remind us of God's love for each of us. It reminds us of his compassion and his healing power. And it is also a reminder that we need to humbly trust in his presence and to desire to lead us and to heal us. Sometimes in ways and lengths of time that can take us to different places interiorly and externally too. It can be on a timetable that we do not understand, but only God does. My brothers and sisters, today is a good day. It is a good day to renew our faith and our trust in God, and each in our own way to say to the Lord, take my hand, lead me on.